Thank you for your question. When it comes to non-market economy country, we have stressed that in the multilateral talks in the WTO, there is no description about the non-market economy. And there's no such description, and this description only exists in some domestic laws by some member countries, and some countries have coerced some concepts on this. China believed that one country should adhere to the principle of win-win situation and equal consultation, and it should be based on the market potential and to attract the trade partners. This is to facilitate the trades between members. We should adhere to the principle of openness and inclusiveness. We should not limit other members to develop the external relations. We cannot exclude some members. We believe that each economy has their own rights to develop the external trade relations, and they will based on the needs of equal consultation, win-win situation, and stress the need to develop the trade relations. And this. I'm with CGTN. There is some information from U.S. that China's fast development can cater to the needs of fast investment of the United States. But China has adopted some actions, some measures for the aggression in the trade in the United States. And also there are issues of such as violations of the IPR. I would like to ask for your response. The speech of the U.S. leaders is in ignorance of the facts between China and U.S. trade. According since 1987, at that time, our trade was open to the outside world. China cumulatively attracted 202.6 billion US dollars, and China's investment to U.S. accounts for 85 billion US dollars, accounting for 4.6% of that total. We do not deny U.S. investment contribution to the China's development, but China's economic development at its roots is the result of openness and reform and opening up. It is led by our own development. Since reform and opening up, China's external trade and economic cooperation. In this relation, we adhere to the principle of win-win situation. China's economy actively integrates into the world's economy. We have never and will never had an economic aggression. In contrast, we hope to enjoy the opportunities with all trading partners and enjoy common development and establish the open world economy to push the world economic development. According to the WTO, since 2013, the annual contribution rate of China to the world's economic growth has exceeded 30%. According to WTO, since between 2001 and 2017, China's trade imports accounts for 3.8%, increase from this figure to 13.2%. The service has increased from 2.7% to 9.1%. China's economic growth contribution to the world is obvious. U.S. has mentioned that China's action does not adhere to the free and fair trade, and China's opinion is obvious. It's clear. We always firmly adhere to the basic principles and rules of the WTO for the global facilitation and liberalization of global trade. We have made our contribution. We do not hope to seek unilateralism and protectionism. We should take pragmatic measures to proceed the sound development of China-U.S. trade and to secure the world economic trade outcomes. Greetings. I'm from Russia. China-U.S. trade relations has serious consequences to the world. And we should take measures to lift these relations to let these relations rebound. Will these trade frictions become more serious? Well, as you said, as the biggest economies in the world, economic and trade relations not only had consequences to both countries but also to the world. The best way is that both countries may demonstrate their goodwills, mutual respect, based on equality and integrity. We should hold talks and consultations. We believe that as long as two parties may be sincere, we can ensure that the trade frictions can be maintained at the lowest level. I'm with Xinhua News Agency. As U.S. Minister of Trade has said that unless both countries can reach fair and rules and agreements, they threaten to impose taxes on the commodities imported to U.S. from China. Thank you. China for investigations has stressed that U.S. hegemony does not have no effect on China. U.S. wield its own strength to interfere in others' domestic economies, and we are used to this. But we do not believe that the upgradation and the acceleration of the trade frictions is conducive to both economies. And U.S. and China economy develop steadily. This trend does not change, and our economy is advancing towards a high-quality growth model. We hope that the U.S. can abandon its protectionism based on equality, integrity, and mutual respect. Through dialogues and talks, resolve the trade differences between two parties. I hope the U.S. can do this. Thank you. The Chinese government should adopt a series of measures. Sorry, the signal is weak. Thank you for your question. This U.S.-China trade frictions, the cause, you may be clear. China always hoped to secure the big picture of China-U.S. trade. We do not want a trade war, but U.S. has provoked and accelerated the trade frictions in order to secure our own interests, secure the multilateral trade system and world trade order. China had to counteract. The measures are calm and reasonable. We just want to secure our own interests. We had no intention to interfere into internal affairs of the United States. for U.S. enterprises, entrepreneurs, China always welcome. We hope. As far as we know, lots of business leaders does not agree on imposition of the taxes on Chinese goods. But because of the actions by the U.S. governments, we do not know that the United States governments had threatened China. I want to reiterate China's objective to secure these trade relations. This does not change, and China's resolve to secure its own interest has not changed. Thank you. Thank you. I'm China Daily. I've noticed that U.S. leaders in the talks have said that some regions, though China has further, we hope that China to return to its path, to the original path of reform and opening up. Thank you for your question. In recent days, U.S. leaders and vice ministers have mentioned China-U.S. trade relations, mentioned a lot as the two biggest economies. It is normal for us to have to compete, but be it the diplomatic relations and its history, China and U.S. has bigger needs for cooperation since the past 40 years of the establishment of our diplomatic ties. Though we have the trade frictions, we can resolve differences through consultations and dialogues. We always adhere to the principle of cooperation and win-win situation. In dealing with the trade frictions, China always adopt a constructive attitude, but U.S. lack integrity. U.S. has accelerated the trade war or trade frictions and affected China's normal trade. This year marks the 40th anniversary of reform and opening up. We will continue to adhere to the external national policy of reform and opening up, push China's economy to a high-quality growth model. We hope that the U.S. can adopt constructive measures, push China-U.S. trade to a high level. Thank you. Thank you. The China-U.S. trade frictions Sorry, the signal is weak. Thank you for your question. And reinitiation of the trade negotiations between two parties, and China has adopted an open attitude, but regretfully, the U.S. has not adopted good measures, but we hope that the U.S. can adopt a constructive attitude to explore the appropriate method to resolve trade frictions. Mr. Speaker, the U.S., Mexico, and Canada's agreements have some progress. Have you ever studied or analyzed the agreements between the Western countries and between U.S. and other European countries, and between U.S. and Canada and Mexico? Thank you for your question. We've noticed that in the bilateral and the multilateral agreements, there are some new developments. As for the external environmental change, whatever the impacts it will bring to China, the most important thing is to do our own things, take our own measures, push the openness, and optimize the industrial pattern and push China's economic growth to a high level. And China remains an important cornerstone of the world economic trade. China will continue to adhere to the trade facilitation and liberalization. We're willing to work with the trading partners to push the world economic trade order to make it more fairly and appropriate to commonly facilitate the common development of the world economy. Today, Premier Li Keqiang has visited the Netherlands. And could you please introduce China's trade with Netherlands in recent years? With the joint efforts of the leaders by China and Netherlands, China-Netherlands relations have entered into the best stage. Expanding a comprehensive trade cooperation has become consensus. Currently, China-Netherlands trade has grown fast. The cooperation potential has been further released. In 2017, China-Netherlands cloth trading has reached $78.4 billion US dollars, up 16%. In August, the bilateral trade reached $54.7 billion US dollars. Now, the Netherlands is the second biggest partner in Europe. China is the second biggest trading partner outside US. Second, bilateral trade has increased a lot. The investment has entered into a new stage. Netherlands in the EU is an important foreign investment source. By the end of 2018, by the end of 2017, the direct investment has reached $52 billion US dollars in agriculture, mine, energy-saving emission cuts, and cutting-edge technologies. We have great potential for growth, for cooperation. China is willing to work with Netherlands to accelerate the Belt and Road Initiative development. We're willing to facilitate bilateral trade, accelerate the third-party market development. Especially want to tap the trade growth potential. Greetings. We know that the market purchase is one of the new business types. I'd like to ask, what kind of products will be added in the government purchase? Thank you. Approved by the State Council since 2013, the Ministry of Commerce and relevant ministries in Zhejiang, Jiangsu, Hebei, and other regions, in 8 pilot areas, we have initiated our pilot works. In business procedures, supervision methods, and in IT application, we have pilots. And we had VAT to BT to VAT reform. We had identified the filing and the connecting to the internet. We had built the internet in sharing and coordination of the departments and protection of the IPR. We have established mechanism to hold the relevant persons responsible, and this reform has incentivized the market players, expanded the market, and enhanced its internationalization level, and it has facilitated the foreign trade growth. According to our agreements, in the first 8 months of this year, the government purchase and export increased by 52.4% and 70.1% respectively, obviously higher than the national average. The Ministry of Commerce in April this year in Zhejiang, Hunan, Guangdong, Sichuan, and other provinces, and in these 6 markets, we have the 6th round of government purchase, service purchase, and 7 departments of the Ministry of Commerce will continue to have pilots work through a service. It's a systematic innovation. We will further expand our experience to facilitate the foreign trade innovation in our country. Thank you. Because time is limited. The last question. Thank you. Thank you for your question. This year marks the 40th anniversary of reform and opening up. That's an important window for reform and opening up. In the 40 years, the Guangdong Expo serves the national modern development of socialism for the economic and social development and the external trade. The Guangzhou Exposition has played a constructive role. This Guangzhou Exposition continue to innovate, continue to make it market-oriented. I apply information technology and continue to be internationalized. We support the enterprises to explore the diverse markets. And the number of enterprises has exceeded the last session. The first, it has enhanced its professionalism. The brand exposition sites have increased, an increase of 23.3%. The structure continued to be optimized. It has also attracted a new type of businesses, and the new businesses had set good examples. The second, the structure has been optimized. We have added the furniture and household appliances, and we have set the multifunction demonstration areas. We had the professional training of the capacities. The third, we have enhanced multifunctional and multi-pronged services through this smart technology. We had through this smart business commerce, we have comprehensively expanded the online to offline interaction, and we have provided the exhibitors. Fourth, this Guangzhou Expo will hold 20 quality forums. For instance, in the first session, we'll hold international trade forum. We'll have the China's foreign trade reports at the third session, so that we can provide more information sharing for the State Council and CPC Central Committee because time is limited. And this is the end of this news briefing. Thank you.